What is up, guys? Welcome back to the review space, and today we have another trailer, first reaction, and review. So I'm going to be watching a trailer for an upcoming movie, and I'll give my review and my live reaction thoughts on it. So for today, we take a look at Spider-Man movie. Yes, the Amazing Spider-Man trailer. Okay, this is going to be, the reboot of the Spider-Man franchise. So let's begin. 1, 2, 3. Following preview has been approved for audiences by the motion picture. City shot. Oh, is that Uncle Ben? Uncle Ben, and looks like a young Peter Parker. He looks so different. He looks a lot more serious. He kind of looks like Dr. Drew. His mom, what? Wait, is that what? Is that his parents? What's going on? I think he said your mom. Me and your mom we have to go somewhere. Tell us a little bit about yourself, Mr. Parker. Wait, he's an orphan. Oh, Peter lives with his aunt and uncle. Oh, okay. Oh, it showed his eyes. Oh, now he's at the laboratory. He's a teenager now. He's got glasses. I think that must have been Mary Jane, but she has blonde hair. Although it might not be her. It might have been Gwen Stacy, actually. I'm not even sure who that girl is. Looks like okay. Now he's gotten bitten by the spider. He's inside his bedroom. A piece of web came out of the back of his neck. Okay, and now he's discovering he's got powers. He's hanging upside down. Alright, and there's a bunch of cars being thrown around. Oh, and now he's got his suit. Oh, snap. You could see him just jumping across the building over the streets. It's a first person, which is really kind of cool. Oh, he's climbing up on top of the side of the buildings now. Right, a very, very tall skyscraper shot. And he's jumping, he's falling to the streets, but no, he shoots his web and he's swinging. And he clings to the side of a building. Oh, that was pretty darn cool. 7/3/12. Right, okay, so that's the Amazing Spider-Man trailer. Actually, I think I lied a little bit earlier. This is the first time I'm seeing this. I've seen this before, a few months ago actually, but this is the second time I've ever seen this, so I kind of forgot the details. Alright, so thoughts. Okay, thoughts. Pretty good trailer. I enjoyed it. We didn't see any kind of villain type of character. We didn't see a heel. Granted, it is the first trailer. So I don't know who the opposition is here. I don't know who the bad guy is. I don't know, we didn't get any of that. Is it going to be Green Goblin? Is it going to be Venom, Carnage, anybody? I have no clue. It could be a brand new character, a brand new villain, But it seems like they're making a more of a, if anything else, it's more serious. It's more of a realistic, or not even realistic. It's kind of like what they did with Dark Knight, where they kind of made it slightly darker. It looks a bit more serious. There's more of a serious tone to it, as opposed to the. I mean, the first movie was great. It's one of my favorite superhero films. When he became Spider-Man, and it was just fun, from the early 2000s. I enjoyed that, the first installment, okay? It was a fun movie, but it was kind of cheesy. It had some cheesy scenes. And the acting was kind of corny, for a lack of a better word. It was just a little bit underwhelming in some cases, where you had Peter Parker just not cracking any jokes, not having any good one-liners, just not being interesting. And I think that's what took away from the, that particular film, in the film series, it was Peter Parker being kind of bland and boring, and almost, he was criticized for being emo, especially in Spider-Man 3. There was too much focus on, Uncle Ben, being gone, and this whole responsibility thing, and it just wasn't as charismatic as maybe the cartoons or the comics version of Peter Parker, aka Spider-Man. But there's, it had a few more problems, but this one looked pretty good. There is a bit more of a serious theme to it, which I kind of dig. Although, I don't know if Spider-Man should be a serious character. Again, for me, he's always been kind of, not devil-may-care, not lackadaisical. These are not the words I'm looking for. He's just more, he's a wisecracking kind of guy. He just cracks these jokes, and he's just really funny and sarcastic, and he'll just have these one-liners, and he just doesn't take things too serious. It doesn't seem like, they take him too seriously. Yeah, it's not a very overtly serious character. It's not a dark character at all. And Spider-Man is more of a very benevolent, but more of a sarcastic kid, really. He's a youth. He's a teenager. So the way that they approach this is that it just doesn't seem like, if it's going to be serious, I don't know how well that's going to come across. I've never liked Spidey as a serious character. I've never liked him as an angry or kind of a brooding kind of character. Especially, like, even in the cartoons when they made him into the Black Spider-Man with the symbiote suit, and he had the black color, and then he kind of became angrier and more reckless, and he was just more aggressive. It just didn't seem like it fit his character. That Peter Parker, very intelligent, intellectual nerd who kind of becomes, this very likable, wisecracking one-liner type of guy. And it was just kind of funny. But again, the trailer looked pretty good. I did enjoy the first-person aspect of it, although it did look a lot very CG. It had a very CG feel to it, the way it was shot. So it felt almost like I was watching a video game. Basically a video game footage. But regardless, it did look pretty sweet. It looked pretty cool. I'm digging it. I hope that, every time he goes into web-swinging mode, it becomes first-person. Because at least it offers, a fresh, at least perspective. It's a fresh take on the Spider-Man movies. Let's see. I mean, it's an origin story, so I don't know how many times they can remake or reboot this franchise where they can retell the same story over and over again. It gets redundant, to be honest with you. It does get redundant. It's like the same thing over. It's like the same story. You know what I'm saying? His origin, and he lost his parents, and he was raised by his aunt and uncle, and he's growing up as a teen, and he meets his classmates for the first time, and he meets Mary Jane, and he gets bitten by the spider for the first, and then he turns into Spider-Man. So I don't know how many times they can keep redoing this. My personal opinion is that why can't they just make a brand new movie of Spider-Man and just have it just be in just a random, not random, but in the middle of an arc where it's very interesting. Just something different. Just something unique. Why don't they make a movie about Spider-Man 2099? Remember that? 2099, where it was like a futuristic version of Spidey? Just anything different. I mean, Marvel Spider-Man. Marvel Zombies, I should say. Remember Marvel Zombies? Where every character in the Marvel Universe turned into a freaking zombie? That was pretty cool. And then Spider-Man himself was a zombie, and I kind of enjoyed that. Why can't they do that? Instead, we have this... It's another origin story. We go back to the same thing. Now, granted, the first movie came out quite a while ago. I think it came out in 2001, if I'm not mistaken. It's quite a while ago. I mean, it really is an old film. If not 2002, I'm forgetting. Such a long time ago, but it's pretty much a decade ago. But still, I mean, how many times can they keep rehashing the same origin story. You know, it's like, let's start from the beginning again. I mean, come on, we've seen it so many times. From the cartoons, the TV shows, the comics. Why can't they just take it to a new direction? Just have Peter Parker, you know, and have him just continue the... Not even continue, you know, I don't want him to continue the Spider-Man, you know, after Spider-Man 3, I don't want him to make Spider-Man 4 and have it be continued in the same actors and, you know, the same characters. But what I mean is, it should be in a brand new setting. You know, brand new villains. You know, feuds that there's so much untapped source material here. I mean, quite literally, so much more than just a typical reboot to the franchise. You know what I mean? Ultimately, what I see this movie coming out, I see this as the same BS, the same kind of crud that Hollywood, tired old hack Hollywood, have been producing for the past 10 years. Is that they just keep milking these superhero comic book franchises, these names, these brand names, these Marvel characters, these DC characters, these superhero characters, and they just keep rehashing the same ideas over and over. There's no originality at all. I mean, the fact that, you know, it's going to be another reboot, another origin story, going back to the same character, Spider-Man, all over again, and it's a comic book based movie. It's not, you know, it's not original. That's my problem. You know, that's why it's so... on the other hand, when you play, you know, the advocate, in defense of these movies, Hollywood really they haven't been innovative simply because people haven't been watching movies, really. I think that ticket sales probably have been down. I mean, I'm 99% sure that the past 10 years, moviegoers and moviegoing has been on the decrease. Overall, I think that only the brand names draw. Let's put it that way. Only the big names draw. Spidey, Batman, you know what I'm saying? Those names draw. And Hollywood will just make whatever draws money, predominantly. You know, whatever attracts, you know, that market. And so that's why they keep rehashing the same stuff again and again, and just the same nonsense. And I know some people are going to say, well, it's an origin, or it's a reboot, so that makes it original. You know, it makes it fresh. It makes it... Really? Do you honestly think this makes it fresh? The fact that they're going back to his origin, the fact that they're going to retell the same story that we all know, that we are all familiar with. We all know how it starts. He gets bitten by a spider. And then he gets a transformation. He starts to feel all weird and like, oh my gosh, all these changes are happening. He gets powers. And then he turns into a superhero. He puts on the suit. That's my problem, is that we know what to expect. It's familiar. It's too familiar. There's nothing new. They're not going to the future. They're not introducing new characters. They're not introducing new villains. They're not introducing a brand new, like, angle where they can portray Spider-Man in a different way, in a more, you know... In the comics, there's so much more, again, untapped source material. They've done so many things with Spidey. I understand, you know, it's a business. I get it. It's a business. It's a money-making thing. You know, people make movies to make money. They want to draw in as many people in the seats and have people watch it. And it's just unoriginal. So that's it for this little trailer review. I know I kind of went off on a tangent, but it's time to go off. And till next time, ciao!